could beat him, because Crawford is a big 147 fighter and is strong as well, which a lot of people don't give him the credit for. I think that fight, if it does happen, as long as Crawford stays away and just boxes and be smart, he can win that fight. I think Crawford's a better fighter than Charlo, and he's a smart fighter as well. He switches and everything, so that would be a very...
Canelo Alvarez is one of the few boxers still on Terence Crawford's radar, despite the significant weight disparity between the two. Although Crawford's desire to fight Canelo is evident, there are mixed opinions about the likelihood and sense of such a matchup. Bob Arum, a key figure in boxing, firmly believes Canelo would dominate the fight. "I think Canelo wipes the floor with him," Arum said. "I love Crawford, but Canelo is a different level. While Crawford showed his superiority against Spence, Canelo is in a different class. He's accustomed to fighting at a higher level, and I don't think Crawford can hurt Canelo, but Canelo can definitely hurt him." Crawford, on the other hand, has made it clear that money is his primary motivation at this stage in his career. Given the limited viable options for Canelo, Crawford may be one of the few financially lucrative opponents left. Even though Crawford would be jumping up multiple weight classes, the fight would undoubtedly attract considerable interest. Eddie Hearn, however, doesn't see Crawford as a serious contender against Canelo. Hearn has openly stated that he doesn't think Crawford could handle the jump to 168 lows. As skilled as Crawford is, I don't think he would come up to 168. I don't believe he'd stand a chance against Canelo. You won't see Canelo come under 168 for a fight, and if Crawford moves up, it'll be too much for him, Hearn added, acknowledging Crawford's talent but believing the size difference is too significant. David Benavidez, known for his dominating presence at super middleweight, expressed his skepticism about a fight between Crawford and Canelo. He labeled it a show rather than a legitimate contest. Canelo's a natural 168 pounds fighter. To see him fighting someone from 154 or 160 doesn't make sense. It's not a good look for boxing. To make history, you need to fight at your natural weight, or at least a little above. Benavidez argued. Despite these opinions, there are others, including Demetrius Andrade, who think Crawford could realistically take on the challenge. Andrade explained, "When I started in boxing, the first thing we were taught was to respect weight classes, but if Crawford is thinking about it, it means it's possible. He's a tremendous talent, and nothing he does in the ring should be ruled out." Andrade acknowledges that while it might seem far-fetched, Crawford's skill set is so refined that even a drastic move like this can't be dismissed outright. Crawford himself recently shifted his stance, declaring he would be willing to jump up 3 weight classes to face Canelo at 168 lows. While Canelo has always been respectful of Crawford's abilities, he's hesitant about the idea. "I respect Crawford. He's a great fighter," Canelo stated. But people talking about me facing a guy who's 147 loads doesn't make sense. Charlo is already big at 160, so why would I fight someone even smaller than him? Still, in boxing, anything can happen. If the opportunity makes sense, I'll take it. On the other hand, some observers, like Gabe Rosado, are less enthusiastic about a Crawford-Canelo fight, preferring to see Crawford face a fighter like Jermell Charlo or Jaron Ennis instead. I'd rather see Crawford fight Boots Ennis. Canelo-Crawford doesn't seem like it would work, and even if Crawford loses, people will say he was too small for Canelo, Rosado remarked, pointing out that Canelo's size advantage would likely overshadow Crawford's technical skills. Tim Bradley, who has studied Crawford's abilities in depth, is one of the few who would back the underdog. "Crawford is one of the smartest and most skilled fighters I've ever seen," Bradley said. "I'd back him to beat Canelo at 168. His speed, power, and timing are unparalleled, and he can switch styles like no one else. His ability to break down fighters and finish them is something we haven't seen in a long time. I think he has what it takes to pull off the win." Despite the doubts, Crawford remains undeterred in his belief that he could take on the challenge. While many question the logic behind him moving up to 168 oaks to face Canelo, Crawford's confidence and his relentless pursuit of greatness in the ring suggest that anything is possible, even if it means defying conventional wisdom.
Bringing up Canelo, I think that's weird, because you'd have to gain 20 pounds.
Yeah.
But they say that's the money fight. That's the mega fight. That's the money fight. That's the only thing that makes sense for Terence Crawford.
Well, catchweight. You can do something at a catchweight.
What weight you think?
I like 160 or something.
you said 154 is the highest you want to go.
Yeah, 158. Mm-hmm.
Oscar De La Hoya seems to share Bob Arum's perspective on the size disadvantage Crawford would face against Canelo Alvarez. He acknowledged Crawford's superior boxing skills, but emphasized that Canelo's size and power would be key factors. Crawford is the craftier boxer, but Canelo has the size and power. Like Bob Arum said, Canelo would run right through him, De La Hoya remarked. He believes the fight would be competitive at first, but as the rounds go on, Canelo's power would eventually take over. It'll be a tough fight, but stylistically, I see it as one-sided. Canelo will take control around the 7th round and start to attack. His power will become too much, and Crawford won't be able to keep up. However, Teddy Atlas, a respected analyst in the sport, strongly disagrees with the idea that Crawford should be written off in such a matchup. Crawford has the ability to slow things down in the ring and see things that others can't, Atlas explained. His timing is extraordinary, and that's why I can't count him out in any fight, even against someone like Canelo. Atlas believes that Crawford's unique ability to adjust and control the pace of a fight makes him a dangerous opponent for anyone, regardless of size. In an unexpected twist, Shakur Stevenson, another highly regarded fighter, also voices belief that Crawford could defeat Canelo. I think Bud could beat Canelo. Stevenson said confidently, "I've been saying this for a while. I don't think size wins fights, skills do. With Crawford's movement, southpaw stance, and slick boxing, I think it would be very hard for Canelo to break through his high guard and land those big hooks. I believe Bud has the skills to outbox him." Meanwhile, other voices in the boxing community like Dan Davis have weighed in on the potential outcome, suggesting that Crawford's victory could be a major upset in the sport. While the debate continues about the feasibility and implications of such a matchup, it's clear that many people are divided on the outcome, with some giving Crawford a fighting chance based on his exceptional technical abilities.